Hello Internet, Andrew Eder here, and welcome to another episode of Film Editorials. When you watch a lot of movies, like I do, you start to notice some trends, and one of the trends I've noticed makes me want to invest in a good bomb shelter. That trend? The Cold War is heating up again, and things are looking kind of grim. Now when I say the Cold War is back, I don't mean the exact same thing like you saw in movies from the 50s and 60s where nuclear weapons are going to lead to the destruction of the planet and all of humankind. I mean, that's still a possibility, but that's not really what I'm talking about in movies nowadays. What I really mean is that any bad thing that happens in a movie can be pinned on the Russians. For a long time, you didn't see that. From the end of World War II all the way up to 1990, the Russians were bad guys a lot of the time. Any spy movie obviously had the Russians involved. A lot of action movies involved the Russians, Red Dawn, those kinds of movies. But after 1990 and the fall of the Soviet Union, things lightened up. Relations between the United States and Russia got friendly and things were nice. James Bond wasn't fighting Russians anymore, he was allied with them. If you needed a vaguely Eastern European bad guy, you went to one of the former Soviet republics. So, Air Force One with Harrison Ford, former Soviet Republic. James Bond fought some guys from former Soviet republics, like in GoldenEye. But the big bad guy, certainly of the last 12 years, have been terrorists. They are fully saturated into the action movie market. If you're having an action movie, you need to have some kind of bad guy who's not within your own country or organization, then they're terrorists. Like, every single time. Even superheroes have been getting in on the fighting terrorist action. But ever so slowly, I'm starting to see that the Russians are coming back as bad guys. A movie came out a few years ago called Salt, starring Angelina Jolie, and my review of that movie at the time was, it would have been a great movie if it had been released before 1990, because it involves Soviet sleeper agents, and in 2010, I think that movie came out, it just didn't feel realistic. It felt really forced and outdated, despite the fact that the movie was brand new. Then in the newest Die Hard movie, which came out earlier this year, all the bad guys were Russians. Again, this new version of this Cold War where the Russians are seedy. Actually, in that movie, it's really just Cold War era stuff, and Chernobyl's involved, and that movie was pretty ridiculous. My light, over there, died. But I will press on with this video. More recently, in Gravity, the problems facing Sandra Bullock and George Clooney all come from when the Russians blow up one of their own satellites. So pretty much the plot of Gravity is all the Russians' fault. In terms of upcoming movies, you have Jack Ryan, which is Tom Clancy's classic spy franchise comeback, and it's set in Russia. We're going to see more spy-on-spy action, and it's going to be the Russians' fault, and it's probably going to feel really Cold War-y. I'm excited for the movie, certainly, because I like a good spy tale, and Tom Clancy can write them. Rest in peace, Tom Clancy. And then there's the new Captain America movie. The trailer just came out the other day, and that movie is going to be called The Winter Soldier, which references a character from the comics who is the Russian, in fact, the Soviet version of Captain America. So things are going to be interesting in terms of US-Russian relations in the movies coming up. Now the question, of course, is why is all this happening? And I think the answer has two facets. First, you have some good old-fashioned Cold War nostalgia. I mean, people don't miss the threat of nuclear annihilation, but they miss knowing who the bad guys were. During the Cold War, it was, who are the bad guys? Oh, it's the Russians. Ta-da! Problem solved. In this crazy modern world we live in, who are the bad guys is not an easy question to answer. And because the film industry, especially in Hollywood, likes to have an easy-to-identify bad guy, they fall back on these old habits. The other side of the coin is that picking on the Russians is kind of topical. Yes, terrorism is still in the news, but those stories have been kind of beaten to death. Every few weeks you hear about something Russia's doing that's weird and vaguely megalomaniacal on the part of Putin. He's not the most popular guy in the world right now. A few months ago, the same thing was happening to North Korea. These things are kind of cyclical, but I think the trend of using Russians is increasing, and so we're going to see a lot more of that in the coming years. Let me know down below in the comments what your thoughts on this topic are. I'd especially be interested if you are Russian or of Russian descent, if you've noticed these trends, or if you haven't seen it at all, or if in Russia, say, the movies are completely different. I would be interested to hear that. Okay, that's all for today. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. A lot of good movies coming out in November. I'm very excited for a lot of them, so I'm going to be at the movies a lot this month. Okay, thank you for watching.